Everybody. So this is my first YouTube live. I'm really excited about it. We're about to record a podcast. I'm relaunching my podcast. I know my video quality is not that great. I have an iMac and this camera quality is horrible. So we're going to work on it. We're going to figure that out. Probably going to get an external camera. So don't mind the not so good camera quality today, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it. So I am relaunching my podcast. Is the first time that I have um, done a podcast recording specifically for my podcast in months. I'm really excited to relaunch it, to rebrand myself a little bit more. Breaking social stigmas is a saying that I have really felt called on my heart, and we're going to talk about it in my podcast. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of the behind the scenes before I started my podcast recording. So thank you for being here. Make sure you follow, make sure you send me over some love. And if you want to go and check out my podcast, is going to be Breaking Social Stigmas with Amanda Stanley pretty much everywhere that you can find podcasts. So Apple and Spotify are the two most common ones. You can actually go and find the links on those in my bio. And let's get started. Let's get started. Hey, everybody. This is Amanda Stanley, and we are relaunching this podcast. I am so excited to do this. This has been called to my heart for a long time, and I am finally ready to completely relaunch and just bring to you Breaking Social Stigmas with Amanda Stanley. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being on the first part of this journey and just sending over all the love, all the support through the past year and a half that I've been running a podcast. We have over 130 episodes thus far. So this is going to be the new improved podcast, rebranded to talk more on what is on my heart, talk more about the things that matter to me, and just continue to bring change in society, change in the world on social media, and really just how to create the life that you want. So, we're going to talk about breaking social stigmas, breaking norms, breaking barriers, and creating the life of fulfillment that you've always wanted. And this podcast is going to speak to anybody who's just looking for change, looking for better in their life, not sure where to get it, not sure how to get it, not sure how to get out of the social norms that you're in, or just what we've always been taught in life. Maybe you are somebody who, like I was, where you felt like you never fit in the box, but you didn't know how to actually get out of the box. The past 4 years, I've really opened up into myself, opened up into my own, and now we are relaunching this podcast to speak on that. And still going to keep it business topics, still going to keep how to build a business and network marketing, and also talk a little bit about homeschooling, as I am a homeschooling mom, and just really how to balance homeschool life, family life, and building a business all in one. There's no such thing as balance. We'll talk about that in a different podcast episode. But ultimately, you can have it all. You can do it all. You can see it all. You can achieve it all. And that's what we're here to create in this life. So I found the definition of social stigma that I thought really called to me, and it says severe social disapproval of a person based on political or particular traits that indicate their deviance from social norms. I'll read that again. Severe social disapproval of a person based on particular traits that indicate their deviance from social norms. And I think that is so powerful. There's a bunch of definitions that I found, but that really calls to my own heart on what I mean by breaking social stigmas. Now, what kind of social stigmas are there? There is pretty much anything under the sun that you can think of: mental illness, addiction, race, culture, religion, anything that people can have an opinion on when it comes to other people is really a social stigma. So there's social stigmas around homosexuality, there's social stigmas around where you grew up, the amount of money that you make, all of those different things. We're going to focus in on this podcast on business network marketing, especially and particularly, and homeschooling, and how to really break out of that shell as a mom and break out of that shell as a woman in the business space when you stay home with your children and homeschool and want to travel and want to do more in your life. How to continue to break out of those social stigmas, how to continue to break those social norms and the social construct around being a stay-at-home mom and a work-at-home mom and a business mom, and how to make it all work for you and your family to create the life that you want to live. So, some of you guys know me, some of you do not, but I've been working network marketing for 4 years now. And I have been with the same company absolutely, absolutely found my home where I'm at currently. And I have found my place on social media when I was the quiet, shy one ever since I was younger. As a child, I was deemed very quiet. People literally always had to ask me to speak up. They could not hear me. And I wasn't always quiet. I learned from a very young age not to speak up, because when you speak up, you get bullied and you get made fun of and you get talked about. So I became quieter and quieter and quieter and more shy as the years went by, understanding that as a kid, bullying was hard. As a kid, being made fun of was hard. So I had to do different things like quiet myself and become so inward with my own self because I didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't feel like I belonged to any specific social group. I had friends that, to be quite honest, even through now, I still consider friends, or, you know, they have such a special place in my heart nowadays, even still. And I am almost 32 years old, graduated in 2008. They've been lifelong people in my space, but ultimately I never felt like I fit in with anybody. I never felt like I fit in with a certain group. And I never felt like what was always talked about, what was always taught, was things that we should absolutely be learning. For instance, how many of you guys have heard money doesn't grow on trees? I absolutely have, and that was something that was taught from a very young age to me. Nowadays, I understand that money is an abundant resource. Money is something that we can come by in so many different ways. We just have to find the different ways to get there. So, at a young age, I just became very quiet. I became very reserved. I really didn't speak out loud all that much. I was what they consider to be an introvert. And as the years went by, I grew more and more into my shell. I continued to not want anything to do with people. Funny enough, I went to college for human services and social work to work with people, but I really did not want to work with people. I did not want to see people. I did not want to spend time with people. It was very weird at the same time, very normal. I don't know if any of you can relate. If you're listening to this podcast, if you're watching this live, you probably can relate to that. So, as the years went by, I understood more of myself and knew that it wasn't just that I was an introvert. It was that society taught me how to be quiet. Society taught me that it was not okay to speak out. Society taught me that what I was thinking, what I was feeling was not valid. How I was thinking with wanting to just continue to break out of my shell, break loose, and what was going on in the world wasn't sitting right with me. What goes on in the world right now doesn't sit right with me. This is not a political conversation, but at the same time, there is so much going on in the world that just doesn't sit right with who I am as a person, what calls to me in my heart, and what I think nowadays. So, 4 years ago, I started a business in network marketing, and that's where my growth really started changing. I started doing personal development every day. I started listening to podcasts and spending time with people who were entrepreneurial mindset and business mindset and understanding that life is whatever you decide to make it. Now, I've always wanted to homeschool, but I didn't know if I was actually going to make that happen. Until the past year, I understood more about homeschooling and that it doesn't have to be what a traditional homeschooling or traditional schooling actually is. It can be whatever you decide to make it. So, for instance, we homeschool in a very non traditional way. We don't use specific curriculums. We use a lot of life application and travel and exploration in order to teach our son and continue to teach ourselves as adults, which is the cool thing about homeschooling is that you can stay a student just alongside your kids and it's a learning experience for you both. So homeschooling has been called to my heart the past year, honestly, the past 6 months even, where I decided that I'm going to speak more on that. I'm going to speak more on what's called to my heart. Homeschooling has been called to my heart with everything over the past 2 years. Just continue to solidify the reasons why we chose homeschooling. And part of the reason why we chose homeschooling is to travel, is to see more, is to explore more, is to open up the possibility that wasn't there when I was a kid. Those possibilities were kind of closed books that only few and far between could open. And I want to teach our son, Hunter, how to open those no matter what age you are, no matter how you grew up, no matter where you are in life, and teach you guys to do the same with your children. And I know a lot of women, wives, moms, especially moms, who's speaking to you with this. You can have the life of your dreams. You can have the life of fulfillment. You can have the life that you want with your family. You don't have to keep settling. You don't have to lose your identity. We lose our identity when we become moms and then we never find it again. We don't know how to find it again. We don't know what to do. We don't know how to speak. We don't know how to act. We don't know what even we love to do anymore. We just tend to lose ourselves. We become mom. How many of you guys relate to that? How many of you relate to just calling yourself mom and wife? But you have a name and you have a voice and you have a vision, even if you don't know what that is right yet. And you have a calling, even if you don't know what that is just yet. So, in this podcast, we're going to teach you how to break out of those social norms, break those social stigmas when it comes to homeschooling, when it comes to life, when it comes to money, when it comes to business, when it comes to being an entrepreneur, when it comes to being a woman, wanting to have it all, do it all, be it all, and not knowing how to achieve that. That's what you're going to get here. So make sure that you are following. Make sure that you are turning subscriptions on. And I'll leave you with this. Worthiness is a birthright. It's not something you have to earn. It's something that you get to step into. You are born worthy. You are born with the ability to change lives. You are born with the ability to change your life. You are born with the ability to create whatever life that you want to create. It's not about what society says that you have to live. It's not about how society says you have to raise your family. It's about the decisions that you get to make on how to raise your family, the decisions that you get to make on how to rule your own life, your family's life, how to live. That is all up to you. That's the decision that you and only you can make with your family. Worthiness is a birthright. You are worth whatever it is that you want to see out of this life, however much income, however much wealth you want to grow. the sites you want to see, the places you want to travel, how you want to raise your family, where you want to raise your family. That is all a birthright. So make sure you turn on subscriptions and you are follow me. And if you want to go and leave me a 5-star review over on Apple iTunes, and a love note, we are going to do cash money giveaways at different milestones within this podcast. I'm so excited to be diving deeper into what does breaking social stigmas mean to me, how to create the life, how to create the business, and how to create the family of your dreams. You guys are amazing. Until next time, this is Breaking Social Stigmas with Amanda Stanley. You guys rock. We did it. All right. So my next step is to actually relaunch. I have to finish actually rebranding it. I want to create a new cover photo. If you go to the links in my bio, you'll be able to find the Spotify link and the Apple iTunes link. And I'm just so excited to be diving deeper into this. I don't know why it makes me nervous doing these podcasts, but it also speaks and calls on my heart to talk about some of these things that a lot of people, especially in the network marketing space, aren't really talking about in network marketing. And we'll do this on another podcast too, but you guys can get the inside scoop over on YouTube. In network marketing, there isn't a lot talked about on how to be the wife that does it all, the mom that does it all, the woman that does it all without having to give yourself up. You get to do all these things. You get to live the life of your dreams with your family and still keep your own identity and still have your own dreams and your own passions and the own life that you want to fulfill. So, you guys are amazing. Make sure you go and follow me and subscribe to the channel. I will be going live multiple times a week, as well as creating content specific for YouTube. But if you want to go and follow me on all my other social media platforms, you can. You are amazing. Enjoy this Sunday. It is Super Bowl Sunday. I do not watch the Super Bowl. I'll probably watch the halftime show because I'm a 90s kid. And of course, we got to watch the halftime show. But I will see you next time. And